Happy Thursday. Hello, everybody. Good to see. Wait a minute. That is a little too bright. It's a little too bright outside. What in the world is going on here? Why am I looking a little blurry? Is that just me? Hold up. Should have checked this before I went live. JB, you son of a gun. There we go. All right. Had to make sure everything was everything because, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be coming in looking all crazy and blurry like I'm on a Barbara Walters special. You know what I'm saying? But hello, everybody. Yeah, good to see you. Welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel. I am your host, James Fauntleroy. So good to see all of you here on this beautiful Thursday. Today is April 13th, 2023. My name is James, and you are in my boudoir. Yes, absolutely. Also, just to let you guys know, the Jaybefaunt channel is available on all major podcast platforms. So you go ahead and subscribe to me there. I'm also part of the Revolutionary Blackout Network. So if you guys would like to, you guys can subscribe there. You guys can catch me on the JB Show on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, as well as on RBN Live on Tuesdays at 4, and the Savvy and JB Show on Thursdays at 6. And you can catch my regular stream that is every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, just to let you guys know, if you guys would like to also get email notifications, you guys can go to my Substack at jaybefaunt.substack.com. You guys can get all the email notifications from there to let you guys know when I'll be going live so that you guys don't have to depend on YouTube for every notification. But if you guys still just want to depend on YouTube for that, go ahead, please click the notification bell and go for all streams or all notifications as well, so you guys can get notified of whenever I go live, because sometimes I may do a surprise stream that week. You never know. And I'll let you guys know beforehand. But on top of all that, thank you so much to all the patrons on Patreon and Coffee, and as well as members. Yes, I do have memberships. So thank you so much to everybody for your contributions. Without you guys, I would not be able to do this. So thank you to all of you, and the people are also scrolling down on the bottom of the screen. All right. Now, did I forget anything? We'll get into that after I say hello to everybody. We're going to get into that just really quick. And just to say my hellos to all the beautiful people that's in the chat, we have Willingly Nomadic coming in saying, very much looking forward to this stream. Thank you, Willingly Nomadic. I appreciate it. It means a lot, actually, when people say things like that, because, you know, it's like you guys are willing to hear what I have to say. So thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we got CBC Voter coming in saying happy Thursday at JB. Thank you so very much. Good to see you all and accounted for. My bestie Sweary Fairy coming in saying beautiful family. Hello, love and hugs for all. Ah, yes, better than housing and Medicare for all is love and hugs for all. Or we can have both, right? Terry Connolly coming in saying, good afternoon, fam. Good to see you, Terry Connolly, up and accounted for. Good to see you. We have Bryce Smith coming saying, sup, JB. Good to see you, Bryce. All right. Who else we got up in here? We got Waddy coming in saying, hey, everybody. Good to see you, Waddy, up and accounted for. I appreciate all of you. Creative Experiments is in the house saying, scam capitalism. Thank you so very much. And with the fancy words coming in, thank you so very much to you as well. Creative Experiments just checking in on our Rockfin side. No comments yet, but we will get to people there in a little bit. Also, we have joining us right now. We have, I'm working with what I got, bestie. Thank you so much, Square Fairy. We have Extra Booyah, Uncle Warren coming in saying, hey, y'all, Uncle Warren 2024. He's coming in, and he's coming in hot. All right. So make sure to take a look at Uncle Warren. He's also on the Indian News Network. Indian News Network is a great channel that you guys need to be subscribed to. They also cover some very deep topics, which I deeply appreciate. So go ahead and go over there and check out their channel too as well. Extra Booyah. You're so extra. All right. So just to let you guys know what we're going to be getting into today. So this was something that came across, and I was just like, man, I want to do a show on this, and I don't want to wait until next week to do it. So I was just like, JB, do it. So coming in, we have this subject for today. We have customer service under capitalism. So this is something that I am kind of privy to because I used to be in customer service. I was in retail and customer service and in food service, which also had to deal with customers. So I have a little bit of experience in this. And so this is an issue that I actually kind of want to tackle. And shout out to Roger Meadows because Roger Meadows actually was like, this is a very interesting subject. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. This is very interesting. And I have a couple tie-ins to go here that I wanted to go to. But I just wanted to talk about this a little bit too. So shout out to you, Roger Meadows, also about this story. And just to let you guys know, we have Corona Ursa coming in saying hello. Good to see you, Corona Ursa. We have VS Adams saying, hey, JB and everyone. Yep, X coming in hot saying customer service feels non-existent in most cases. Yep, we're going to talk about that too. We have Yipper99 coming in saying, I hate working as a customer service. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, look, if you guys customer service, I want you guys to chime in on this all throughout this. And if you're watching this on the rewatch, baby, I want you guys to chime in also in the comments because look, we got some customer service stories. We got some scurry stories, not scary, scurry. That's what we're going to be getting into right now, as they say in Jersey, right now. You guys didn't know I'm from Jersey, right? Originally. So one of the things that I'm going to show is I am going to show an article. Let me go to my list. Let me see. And there's some interesting angles to come at this from, but I wanted to show you guys what is going on. So first off, I want to show this article, and you guys will find this pretty interesting. Share the screen. Share it, JB. Share the screen now. Brought to you by Jaybefaunt. Okay. Wait. Let's enlarge. Oop, that's a little too big. All right. So let's go. So this is an article that says, when did capitalism kill customer service? This is by Russ Waddell. He says, advocate for stakeholder capitalism and business as a source for good. So you already know where I stand on this issue. But he makes some great points because as an anti-capitalist, I think he is circling around the issue, but he makes good points. All right, so let's start. He says, Alex Kearns was 20 years old when he decided to take his own life. Prior to graduating high school, he had decided to open an account with Robinhood. Now, just to let you guys know, I actually had an account with Robinhood a few years ago. I since closed it because it's like, look, investing in the stock market, what really does it do for anybody who has $5 in a dream? Like, it is not for us. It's really for those people that got a few $1,000s just to toss and throw around that they can do something with. I don't have money like that. Like, I got to get to my dialysis treatments. I have to buy food. I got to pay electric. I don't have money to invest in Robinhood. And don't give me that pull yourself up by the bootstraps BS, because that shit doesn't work. And the thing is that the whole bootstrap narrative was actually a joke. It was actually making fun of people who say that they're self-made, that they got there on their own volition, that they actually achieved it on their own when in fact you didn't achieve it on your own. And the bootstrap narrative really just means it's just like pulling yourself up by your shoelaces to get yourself off the ground. It does not work. It never has worked. We all have had to depend on somebody in order to get a leg up in this system. And the problem is that you have more people who give a small number of people a leg up in this system versus the rest of us all giving each other a leg up so that we can all prosper. And so that's pretty much what it is. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue. All right, Alex had about $5,000 saved from grandparents' gift, and his parents thought it would be a good way to teach him about money with limited exposure. I wish I had $5,000. I definitely wouldn't have put it in Robinhood. What they did know was Robinhood was also approved. Had also approved Alex to buy and sell options, a risky financial instrument with the potential for big losses. Last June, Alex noticed Robinhood had froze his account due to massive negative balance of $730,000. He received an automated email that they needed immediate payment of $170,000 within a few days. Alex searched for customer service phone number, but there was none. He replied to the email, but got a canned response from an artificial intelligence. He sent 3 emails to their support address online over the next few hours. All they did was have a computer assign him a case number. There was no one there to respond. He thought he blew up his life. He thought he'd screw up beyond repair. Dan Kearns, Alex's dad, said. Later that day, Alex took his own life. The family is filing a wrongful death lawsuit against Robinhood. Is this an extreme example of poor customer service? Maybe, but how have many of us related to the frustration of dealing with a company we pay regularly for services? We need help, customer service, technical support, a simple question, or God forbid, the need to cancel the service and discover the company we paid hundreds or even thousands to over the years is nowhere to be found when we need them. Says, when did the phone company stop using the phone? I've been in direct TV customer service since the early beginnings as a revolutionary content provider in the 1990s. Many did not remember, but they launched the satellite into orbit and beamed television content into space and down to every customer's house for a few $100s up front for the small dish, then about $80 per month for the programming. Just to let y'all know, back in the day, growing up in the 80s and 90s, if you had a satellite dish, hold up. If you had you had it. You had money. Okay? Let's just be real. Those of you who grew up poor, y'all know. Y'all really want me to put it out there? All right. Peep this. The only time people like me ever even had cable was around late January, early February, probably around March, when Mama got her income taxes. Mama got her income taxes, so she was like, all right, we're going to get cable. Yay! Then that's when we got Nickelodeon and Disney Channel. And we were over the moon. And we had cable for about 4 or 5 months. We got to watch cable TV in our own house. Then the guy comes, he puts in the cable box, he screws it in the back of the TV, right? And then, boom, we there. We got the cable box. You have to click, 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 click. All right, let's go to channel 33, right? Because all we had was Fox, NBC, which barely worked with the bunny ears. CBS still kind of didn't work, but still a little bit better. And then ABC was slightly fuzzy. But that was it, right? I mean, then you get a little bit later, you start to have like the WB and UPN and stuff like that. But that's a little bit more towards my middle school and high school years. But anyways, so that was what we had, right? And so for cable, that was what we got. We got it like once time a year during a small few months, and that was it. So if you're telling me that you had satellite back in the 90s, your life was good. Yes, Yipper. Yes. You were living large. I had antennas or basic. Yeah. That was only when the income tax came in with the earned income credit, because she got a couple $1,000 because of me and my brother. That was it. And she paid off some bills. She bought some food. We went out to eat a couple times. And before she ever had a car, paid off a few bills. After she got a car, then she paid to get some repairs done on the car and stuff like that. But that was it. So yeah, that's the whole thing about satellite TV. So, and whenever we went over to friends' houses and they had satellite TV, we were like, whoa. We were deeply impressed. But anyway, let's continue. Since the picture quality at the time was outstanding, but their customer service was even better, as good as any company I ever dealt with. They had real live people in the US answering their customer support line, 1-800-DIRECTV, 24/7, typically at their company HQ in Colorado. Even as they built out their website, you could conduct business online. They still manage the phones for billing questions, technical support, and subscription lineup services. Imagine calling and actually getting a live person. Ain't that amazing? That's until 2015, when AT&T acquired DirecTV. That's when AT&T, under the disguise of broadening service and improving the customer experience, rolled DirecTV into their often glitchy website and removed DirecTV's customer service team. By the way, part of this can be blamed on the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which was signed by William Jefferson Clinton, aka Bill Clinton. Yes, he signed that because they went through a period that they call deregulation. So therefore, guess what? Then these companies like AT&T were able to buy up these businesses. Thanks, Bill. Now, they replaced it with AT&T's global foreign network of inexperienced call takers trying to do away with too much with little training. Typically, you only get to talk to someone after a 14-step automated process asks you to enter information using a touchtone keypad, ultimately trying to just wear you down. Then wait 30 to 45 minutes until you maybe get a human who is difficult to understand, and then repeats the same question the machine asked at the beginning of the call. And it's like press one for technical support, and then you press 1. And then they're like, thank you for calling DirecTV with AT&T. This is so-and-so. How may I help you? And it's like, yeah, I'm having problems. Are you calling for technical support? I'm like, yes, that's what I press 1 for. But then at the same time, unfortunately, they live in a completely different country. Their accent's very thick, and so you don't understand them, right? And these businesses, they ship their jobs overseas to people, who will work for a lot cheaper. And so guess what? Number one, there is a bit of an accent barrier, because even though they speak English, we can't understand them. Number two, a lot of people in the United States got unemployed because they wanted to ship those jobs overseas to maximize profit. That's exactly what it's for, to maximize profit, even though that profit will not be seen by us, the consumer, because they kept their prices the same. They didn't push that onto us. And then on top of it, you also cause a whole bunch of people to become unemployed, right? And then on top of that, you're exploiting people in other countries for paying them cheap for labor. So now you're not only screwing over workers here, you're screwing over workers over there. Hello, Apple. Oh boy, do this all day. So don't tell. He says, "Don't tell me you're unfamiliar with this experience." Oh boy, I just explained it. AT&T also was really good at not keeping my account straight. I have Wi-Fi, cell phone, email account, and now DirecTV, all accessed through the same web portal. The level of difficulty to simply put my correct account was staggering, often just crashing your site. 6 years into the acquisition, AT&T still hasn't figured it out. And now the rumor is they're going to unload it. Shocking. And after it seemed to be going so well, I'm no longer a DirecTV customer. None of us are. And am looking to unload my AT&T ties wherever possible. But it is tough when they are the only option or the best of a couple of bad choices. Now, it says lack of customer service is a feature, not a bug. The fact is, however, AT&T's approach to customer service is the norm way too often now, not the exception. Big companies across the spectrum have taken this approach. They push customers to the web where they are forced to deal with a chatbot, endlessly searching Google for a solution, or just give up. They hide their phone number or don't even provide one anywhere on their website. And if they do, don't properly staff it to handle the call volume. One of my favorite ironies is when I've been told to hold on for Wi-Fi technical support because my internet service is down, and then recorded hold message gives me the website address to visit where I can solve my problem. Really? Why do you think I'm calling? I never wanted to reach through the phone and pour a beer on a machine more. This is not a glitch. It is intentional. It is their business model. Make it easy to buy, frictionless selling, they call it, but make it really, really hard to get support. And this is another point that I want to point out, because it's funny how when it comes to purchasing something, it's easy. It's 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me, and it's great, right? All you got to do is just put in your number, boom, sold. But ask for a refund. Ask for a refund. It'll be 7 to 10 business days before your refund goes through. I'm like, y'all got my money in 3 to 5 minutes. I want my money back in 3 to 5 minutes. But guess what? 7 to 10 business days. The moment your money goes into their hands, they don't want to let it go. They're like so tight-fisted. They're like, no. I'm like, it's my money. I want it back. Remember that J.G. Wentworth commercial? It's my money and I need it now. Yes. Give me back my money. I don't want your service. But they're like, oh, it takes 7 to 10 business days to give you your money back. It didn't take 7 to 10 business days for me to pay you. Let's be for real. And this is how corporations work. And they want that 7 to 10 business days because they want you to cancel that refund. They want you to cancel the cancellation because they want to keep that and hold that money. $877 cash now. 877 cash now. They help thousands. They'll help you too. One lump sum of cash they will pay to you. I can sing the whole song. If you get long-term payments and you need cash now. Look, I know the song. Jeez Louise, I watched way too much TV when I was young. Good God, why in the hell y'all watch my show? Oh Lord. Anywho, let's get back to the article. Just put a few resources online and let the customer figure it out because support is difficult and expensive. Who needs return customers anyway? Most of them are operating as monopolies in new industries with limited or no competition. Why would they try to build loyalty? What are you going to do? Leave? You don't have another option. Capitalism! Capitalism! And that's the thing, man. And so this is what's going on. Capitalism. And this LinkedIn article is in my description, and this is what is going on, right? You try to deal with these companies when it comes to customer service, and customer service has went down the tubes. The only people that actually have good customer service are the wealthy. Even as YouTube creators, we don't have great customer service with YouTube. Why? I'll tell you why. Because guess what? The big creators, the ones that have millions of subscribers, by the way, make sure to subscribe. But people who have millions of subscribers, they have a personal representative at YouTube. So when they have some type of grievance that they need to place with YouTube or something they need to fix, all they got to do is bring, hey, I have this issue with YouTube. Can you guys tell them this grievance that I have so that they can fix it so that my channel won't go under? Sure thing, Mr. Person with 1 million subs. I got you. Click. Guess what? It's resolved in 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. And guess what? They don't have that issue anymore. But those of us that have small channels, right? Guess what we have to do? We have to type it in and be like, okay, I need you guys to fix this. Please, pretty, please, 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 please. Guess what? They'll be like, oh, we'll get to you in a few days. A few days later, maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't, but it's all automated and they about you. So guess what? Even those of us who are smaller channels, who are content creators, have to deal with customer service. You can tell that I'm feeling some kind of way. So yeah, that's what some of it is about. And I also have another video. I have a video to show. But let me get to the chat because you guys are chatty. Boy, you guys are chatting. All right, so I'm gonna start off here. Creative Experiment says, I learned that after 3 calls to a live person, maybe 1 per day, then they respond to your request. Quantum Alchemist says, quote, I will never smoke this strain. My granddad died in Vietnam. How can you associate the weed strain with it? I'm not sure what that's about, but good to see it. Yepek says, I'm old enough to remember turning the knob that only had a few numbers on it and manually changing the TV channel. Remember when your parents used to ask you to come in to change the channel, even though you were busy coloring your coloring book? Come change the channel for me. Yeah. Before they had the remote control. Interesting. Sorry, Fairy says, I just wondered because I found out about them. I'm trying to get the device. Oh, you're talking about something else. Okay. Rick Soley says 3 channels and a bunch of Mexican channels. I lived on the border where the antenna, we get channels from other side growing up. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, thanks, Jenna. Thank you so much. I adore you guys too. Terry Ferry says, I effing hate Comcast, but they're the only internet service provider in my area. Yep. Oh, geez. The Quantum Alchemist says, yeah, it's getting worse and worse too. Even more monopolies in even more areas. And you either only have one alternative that is usually even worse, LOL, or no alternative at all. Rick says, we actually had Prime Star before that, but got bought out by DirecTV, and they had even better service than DirecTV. That sounds familiar. Prime Star. That sounds so familiar. Did you guys know that I actually got into a, multi-level marketing where you have to buy into something and then you have to sell it to your neighbors and then they get under you? It's basically a pyramid scheme. Anyways, there was this one, I think it was called ACN, and my friends were trying to get into it, and it was telephone service, but it was multi-level marketing telephone service. And they were like, oh, we're even going to get into water service. So they were talking about, residual income. You get paid today, you get paid tomorrow today, and you get paid yesterday today. And there was this whole thing, and you had to put in $500. I had $250 that I gave so far, and I was going to do the other 500. And the thing is that I didn't have it. I was broke. And then the lady shamed me into not being a man of my word because I didn't give her the entire $500 in order to start my thing with this multi-level marketing thing. And this was all due to deregulation, because they kept talking about how it's such a good thing. We don't have to deal with it because now we're deregulated by the markets now, so we can actually do this. And I almost lost $500 for a multi-level marketing scheme that doesn't do anybody any good. And all the people that I knew that went into it, guess what? They're not in it no more. They're not in it anymore because they weren't making money off of it. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that happened to me. You know what's funny? Everybody who's in multi-level marketing is always trying to get me. They're always like, oh my God, you have such a great personality. Oh, you'd be great for this business opportunity that we have. And next thing you know, then you're sitting in a Panera Bread talking to this person that you think is about to give you an actual job, but you actually have to sign a W-2 and an I-9, and they're like, this is business opportunity, and all you have to do is give me this few dollars, and then we can actually get you a job. Remember Primerica Financial? People who are like, oh, all you got to do is become an insurance salesman. All you got to do is get your insurance license, and then you can sell through us. Everybody. Look, Mona V, right? Herbalife. I got the stuff to prove it. I used to sell Avon. I even almost got into Mary Kay. I got into they all came. Look, they were all coming after me. They were all like, oh my God, you're so engaging. You have such a great personality. You be. Kind of wish I can just throw holy water on them and say, the power of the Christ compels you, and cast them away from me. But that would be rude, and that would be considered assault. So I can't do that. Anyway, let's I got some stories, man. I got some stories. All right, so let's I'm trying to figure out which video I want to go to. But the thing is that you know what? Let me go to this TikTok video real quick. Because one of the things that these companies do is they have horrible customer service, but the question that the gentleman asked was so poignant. Where are you going to go? You want cable TV? All right, come to us. But after that, if you leave them, where are you going to go? In my area, we have Spectrum. But if I don't want Spectrum, who am I going to go with? AT&T DirecTV. I can call up Comcast and be like, hey, can I get service here? Oh, well, where are you? What's your zip code? Oh, well, sorry, we can't help you. We don't have service in that area. Bye. And then they can go. And then that's it. You're stuck with those two options. You're either stuck with the crappy satellite TV or you're stuck with the crappy in-ground cable TV. And they both have basically you like this. That's how they have you. And so guess what? What am I to do? Right? So I either have to have one or the other. Even when it comes to internet, I either have to go AT&T or Spectrum. I can't have something else. And they're all for profit because they go, look, this is a full monopoly and this is how close they are. They're this close. So they only have maybe one or two companies that have a lockdown on the market. So then guess what? You have no other choice. So they can't say they're a legitimate monopoly per se, but they're this close. They're only one sell-off away from being a monopoly. And this is why you can't have great customer. They don't want great customer service because they don't have to have great customer service because they monopolized everything. This is capitalism. Capitalism always leads to monopoly. And this is the thing that people have to get through to their heads. Because capitalism is a system that maintains and it needs to, in order to grow, and it has to grow infinitely on a planet with finite resources. So this is what they're going to do, is they may be good for a little while, but once those shareholders get those dividends and those dividends are high enough, then guess what? Oh, we need more growth. So one of two things is going to happen. Actually, one of three things is going to happen. Either the price raising the prices, which also going to be a domino effect, which is raising the prices of everything else but in your life. Okay. Or they are going to cut costs by cutting workers, right? Or there was a third one. Good Lord, what the hell happened in my head? But the cutting of costs and the raising of prices is what they do ultimately. And the cutting of costs also means cutting of workers and cutting of services and having more crappy service. And so that's how it ultimately happens. And people talk about, oh, well, capitalism breeds innovation. No, capitalism breeds monopolies. Because that's how they have to and then the third option is they buy out another company and they absorb more customers and more customer base and more resources, and then they grow that way. So that's the three options that you have in capitalism. So I'm gonna share this this TikTok video because it's really good. And this is a guy I follow on TikTok. He's a comrade. All right, so let's go here. And this is going to give you guys a really good synopsis of how it actually works.
Almost all banking and finance is dominated by 4 companies. Almost every commercial food brand is owned by 9 companies. 90% of the media in the US is controlled by 6 companies. 4 companies account for 80% of all US drugstores. All air travel in the US is dominated by 4 companies. Almost all meat is produced by 3 companies. Almost all beer worldwide is owned by 5 companies, with 2 companies dominating 65% of the US beer market. People like to think that capitalism means competition and small business, but history shows something different. Competition is the enemy of the capitalist. Competition between firms is supposed to bring the cost of commodities to their lowest possible level. That means decreased profit every single year, the more competition there is in a particular industry. But capitalism is a productive system based on profit. In this way, eliminating competition is part and parcel to the inherent dynamics of capitalism. This means capitalists needs to manufacture a monopoly, either through branding, eliminating their competition, or simply just merging with other major.
So basically, that's how it works. And so, where are you going to go? There is no choice. You know, it's funny because now I'm thinking about everybody that talked about, oh, single payer healthcare is not good because people like choice. But you don't have choice in capitalism because the corporations will buy each other up, and then there's only one choice left. There's only one top dog. But in order for it to not look like it's a full monopoly, they'll maybe have an agreement between one or two of them. So then they can say, okay, I won't step on your toes. You won't step on my toes. We'll corner the market and we'll all have a big share. And, you know, we don't have to spend that much money when it comes to customer service or our infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. So that's how it works. And this is why customer service doesn't happen anymore. And then this is why we get frustrated with the people who we have to deal with. And from the customer service side, us workers who are in customer service, we get frustrated with the companies that we work for because now you guys are making it harder for us to do our jobs and more frustrating. And then guess what? The customers that come in, they're yelling at us. They're not yelling at y'all. It's because you guys made the decision. I remember working in Sears. Hell, let me show that. He's just because everybody's like, you used to work at Sears. Yeah, I worked at Sears. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, let me see. That's gonna be way down. You know what? I know how to get to it. Faster. All right. Okay. But yeah, I used to work for Sears and I was just oh wait. I thought I had it. Hang on. Where is it? I have it around here somewhere. I think this is it. Yep, here we go. Okay. Don't laugh. Well, okay, you guys can laugh. It's okay. But, But this was me back when I was working at Sears. And I thought
Shop Your Way members and guests.
I thought that I could, get in and be their voiceover for their commercials and stuff. So let just feel free to laugh.
Way members and guests. How did you wake up this morning? Still exhausted? Groggy? Irritable? Do you want to change it? Let us help you in the mattress department here at Sears. This is the biggest sale of the year. Sears Memorial Day Mattress Sale. Come upstairs and get a $200 Sears Award card when you purchase a Sealy Memory Foam mattress or Stearns & Foster mattress. Or get a $300 Sears Award card when you purchase a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Get a Beauty Rest Silver hybrid mattress and get the box spring for free. We also have adjustable bases starting at $7.99 for Sealy, Serta, and Beauty Rest mattresses. Want to take a mattress home today? We have closeout mattresses available at deep discounts for you to take home right now so that you can get a great sleep tonight. Purchase with your Sears card and get up to 84 months of no interest. That's 7 years of zero interest. Or get 10% back in Shop Your Way rewards to use for pillows or protective beds. Also, get free delivery on mattresses over $6.99. Celebrate this Memorial Day with refreshing sleep and rest well knowing that you saved big at Sears, where your dreams matter.
What in the world did I do that wink? Why? What in the hell was I thinking? Why did I? Oh my God, James. I was young. I was dumb. I was stupid. I'm sorry. But yes, I used to work at Sears in customer service. So that we got that out of the way. So yeah, the thing is that when you have to tell a customer something that they don't want to hear, they don't like it. I remember working in the tools department at Sears. Yeah, I moved around in departments. And so there was something having to do with a discontinued tool. And Sears has this program where if your tool breaks, they had a lifetime warranty on it, right? It was for Craftsman tools. And you could bring it in and then you can switch it out for a brand new version of that tool. But they discontinued the tool. And this guy, middle-aged white guy, comes in. He's like, I would like to switch this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we do not have this. He's like, I can give you another brand of this same tool this one time, but after this, you're on your own. And he was like, how is that my problem? And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's the company policy. He's like, but you're saying this is my problem. I don't understand how this is my problem. You guys give a lifetime guarantee. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's the policy. I'm not the person over it. He kept getting after me, even though it was not me who made the policy. I've been insulted by customers before in customer service because we didn't have enough workers. I've literally been called some heinous names by workers. And then instead of kicking them out, we have to just, give them what they want just so we can get them out of our face. Instead of saying, no, you insulted me to my face, get out of my store or I'm going to call the cops. Now, back in the day, I would have done that, but now I don't really, ACAB, fuck 12. Anyway, but that's how it was back in the day, right? And so now it's gotten even worse. With the onset of Karens now, it's not good, right? Customer service has really shot customer service workers in the foot, right? And so customer service workers are in between a rock and a hard place. So let me share this really quick. I didn't think I was going to show that today, but I was like, what the hell? All right, so let me go to this next video that I want to share with you guys because it just goes to show, that, capitalism really does have, us by the chokehold when it comes to customer service. And shout out to Roger Meadows for sharing this with me. And I absolutely love this group, More Perfect Union. They are wonderful. This is a tweet by More Perfect Union. It says, new, you see it in every viral clip of people raging at retail workers. I know, I was a retail worker. I know exactly what that's like. It continues, our system is set up to create mutual antagonism between working class people. Corporations deliberately pick customers against low-wage workers and faceless executives stay shielded like mob bosses. So this is a video that I'm going to be reacting to. It's a video, but it's a really good video, and it's by More Perfect Union. If you guys are on Twitter, you guys go to More Perfect Union's website. I recommend you guys go there. They talk a lot about worker actions and strikes and things like that. They're a wonderful site and a wonderful account to follow. So let's go. I remember.
Customers were sleeping in airports
We've been waiting for at least 2 days.
and screaming at attendants.
I want a refund.
I've been in the line since like 10 a.m. I've been at the airport since 4 a.m.
Or what about the late shift Waffle House waitress that caught a chair in midair?
A hero.
I've been watching hundreds of these kinds of videos, and it makes me wonder, how exactly do these fights happen?
We all know it's certainly not the workers' fault. But in a lot of cases, it's not the customer either. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you spent 25 minutes on the phone with your bank to dispute a credit card fee? Everywhere you go, a worker is being replaced with a QR code.
I've come to a conclusion. We're right to be angry, but we're wrong about who we're angry at. We're actually mad at the CEOs and executives of these companies, but the problem is we can't access them. They've barricaded themselves away from our reach, so we take out our aggression on the working class people we should be having solidarity with. And this is all by design.
In this video, we'll talk about 3 different ways that corporations have made life hell for both customers and their workers: rating and reviewing systems, automation, and deliberate understaffing. Big businesses use these things as tools to cut costs and also to shift our anger to the wrong people, all while protecting profits and the status quo. This is The Classroom for More Perfect Union, and today we're going to be talking about the real reason customer sucks. We were inspired to make this video because we read an article from Adam Johnson.
You might know him from his podcast.
So just to let you guys know, I remember what was happening. I mean, this was late last year when the whole thing about Southwest was happening. And the thing is that I felt bad for the workers, the frontline workers that had to deal with the frustrations of these people, these customers who had to deal with their flight cancellations and delays. And really, it's not their fault, right? Because you have 3 people. You have the customer who's frustrated, the worker who's frustrated because of the decisions of the corporation, and then you have the people, the CEOs and the shareholders that are hiding in the background that do not have to deal with this. And so the real people who actually should have to deal with this are the CEOs and the shareholders of these companies, of these corporations, because they're the ones who are basically sending us up a shit creek without a paddle. And so this is why so many of us are anti-capitalist, because these are the same people that are making millions and billions off of us, but they're treating us like crap. And this goes in, day out, every single day of the week, every single month of the year. And it goes without fail. And then guess who gets shafted? You and me, the customer and the frontline worker. And so this is why, as somebody who has worker solidarity, whenever I have a complaint, my complaint is with the upper management and the owners. I don't necessarily complain. Like, I will vent, but I'll let the person know, look, you're not the issue. You're just doing your job, but it's your bosses that I don't like. And then this is what, like, for instance, when someone for the company that transports me to and from dialysis, they did a survey. And when they were talking to me on the phone, they were asking me different survey questions. And one of the last things they said was, what is some notes that you would like to give to the higher ups in the company? And I said, how you treat your workers is how you treat your customers. If you're not treating your workers good and not giving them a living wage, then that is tantamount to mistreating your customers and your clients. I said, I told the person on the phone, and I said, in Central Florida, you have to make over $30 an hour in order to afford an apartment here in this town. And if you're only starting off your drivers with $15 an hour, you are subjecting them to wage slavery in this city. And this makes absolutely no sense. So if you don't care about your frontline workers, especially your drivers, then you don't care about us. You don't care about us. And so that's kind of something to the effect of what I was saying. But my thing is, if you really care about your customers, then you need to care about your workers too. But the problem is they care more about profit. And so this is why you get shafted, because they don't care about you. If you're flying on an airline, they don't care about you. They care about the money that you give them in order to fly. They would like it better if you just gave them the money and didn't get on the plane. They would like that even better. They don't care about you when it comes to getting your food order. They don't care. They don't care about you Sometimes even when you go into the hospital for treatment. Because guess what? They have certain policies in order to make profit. And so they'll even tell their medical staff, their doctors, to only go by certain things, certain ways, just so that they can make more profit. It's not about you. It's about the money in your pocket.
Customer service sucks. We were inspired to make this video because we read an article from Adam Johnson.
You might know him from his podcast, Citations Needed. First, let's talk about what Adam calls the snitch economy.
So we use the term snitch economy because basically it turns the consumer into a free manager, basically.
Companies are constantly worried about how their workers, quote unquote, steal time from them.
Like slack off, right? You got time to lean, you got time to clean. We've all heard this.
Well, I know we look slow and I know it looks clean, but it's not. There's a lot of different things for you guys to be doing right now.
And so what they do is they build in.
If you have time to lean, you have time to clean, right? Where have we heard that? I used to also work in food service. I was a line cook for a few years. Let me tell you, when it was slow and we had nothing to do, we used to be sitting, chilling on the line, just standing and chatting, waiting for the next order to come in. They'd be like, "Oh, well, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean." You know, and it's like, we're not going to pay you guys for nothing. And I'm like, I'm here. I'm here. You're paying me to be here. I'm waiting for orders to come in through that ticket machine here so I can fry your tenders and make your carbonara. So guess what? If you guys really want me to be here, then guess what? You're going to pay me to lean. Because guess what? My entire station has already been cleaned. I've been wiping the same spot for 15 goddamn minutes. So guess what? If I want to lean and sit and talk about Star Wars with the guy in the next station next to me, then you better let me. Because guess what? If you're not going to let me do that, I'm clocking out and I'm going home. That's the thing. And that's the thing that people don't realize. It's like, and it's like, wait, but what about the cleaners who come right at night, who clean, our grills and who clean our stoves and ovens? That's not my job. You didn't hire me for that. You hired me to cook, restock my station, and clean my station. All that other stuff, that's what you hired them for. That's what you pay them for. So guess what? I ain't doing all that. You're not going to sit here and make me do all this stuff, the extra stuff, just because you want to save money. Like, come on. If you want them to come in during them slow hours, then have them come in. I'll make the food. And I'll keep my area clean. That's it. That's all. And that's the thing. That's how it was when I was a cook in the kitchen. Got me up. Anyway, let's continue. Oh goodness.
Things for you guys to be doing right now.
And so what they do is they build in mechanisms to the economics of their system that basically turn the consumer into a snitch, into a manager.
Customers are now provided with more and more apps and websites and surveys that allow you to rate and review workers. This is supposed to be empowering for customers, but what it really does is make you do management's job for them.
Wait. Do you get paid for that job? Do you get paid for that? I sure as hell don't. And so basically, you're doing management job for the company, right? Oh my God! Oh, listen to this. This is wild, bro. I'm gonna tell you, this is wild.
Be empowering for customers, but what it really does is make you do management's job for them. Every time you choose to give an Uber driver a certain amount of stars or rate the service of a Grubhub delivery, you're effectively doing the management's job for them. You're spying on workers on behalf of the company. You are
They're making the cut into micromanagers. Godly. These companies, man, they are vicious.
Or deputized as a mini boss, a manager. We talked to Megan, who worked at call centers for 8 years, first at Bank of America and then at a large insurance company. We asked her how many customers would call in already pissed.
Oh, it's a daily occurrence. So probably at least like 10 times a day. And you would have people like verbally abusing you every single day, like for things that were completely out of your control. And sometimes you could understand like where they were coming from, but being the one on the other end of those corporate decisions getting screamed at is just very stressful.
Megan worked 10-hour shifts with just 3 short breaks, and the calls would come all day long.
Management would always be like, try to go to the bathroom on your breaks. Like the human body doesn't unfortunately work around breaks.
She was subject to monthly reviews from her manager, who reviewed her calls not just based on customer satisfaction, but also had to get the customer off the phone in 5 minutes or less.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys what. So I used to also work in sales with a furniture company. And this furniture company, I used to have reviews every single month. My monthly review for my sales. You had to, in order to have a good review, you had to make 300. Okay, it was your sales per hour had to be $300, meaning you had to sell $300 per hour while you were working. $300 per hour. So in short, right, in 10 hours, you had to sell at least $3,000. I was getting $10 an hour plus commission. So on a decent day, it worked out to $20 an hour at the time, right? On a really good day, right? It worked out to $20 an hour. So $20 an hour times 10 hours is $200. But you just made me sell $3,000, and now you're only going to give me $200 out of the $3,000? Let's be serious. So that's the performance. And if you did not perform good, then you had to, put down how you're going to improve and how you're going to make it better. And then if you got it 3 times in a row, if you didn't do good in your monthly review, then guess what? Cut. Fired. And that's how it was. And you're always behind the 8 ball, right? I think in a 4-week month, we had to pull in $60,000 in sales. And I think in a 5-week month, I think we had to do, I'm sorry. Yeah. In a 4-week month, we had to pull in, I think it was $48,000. Was it 48? I'm sorry. $60,000 in a 4-week month, $75,000 in a 5-week month. In a month with 5 weekends, we had to pull in $75,000. Yeah. And if you didn't, you were on the chopping block. If you did it 3 months in a row. If you're full-time and not making that quota in sales, and this is why when you go to places where there's salespeople and they're hounding you and they're on your ass, it's because the management's on their ass. And then the shareholders and the corporate executives are on the management's ass because they need to make more profit, more. Even if they did the same last year as they do this year, and the sales were great, doesn't matter. That's how it was. Anyway, that's how it was for me when I was in sales.
This connects to our second example, automation.
Speak to a representative. Speak to a representative.
One moment while I get someone from customer service to help.
Thank you.
These days, even getting to the bottom rung employee at a company is difficult.
How may I help you?
So if you have a problem, it's increasingly hard to talk to an actual human about it. Don't go to the register. Instead, go to the app and order. Scan the QR code. Don't wait on hold. Instead, go to a random website that may or may not answer your question. More and more consumers are being pushed away from actual humans and onto automated services that we're told will save us time, but they're actually to save big businesses in labor costs. Customers don't like dealing with automated prompts, and cost cutting is turning them against the companies. Look at this Resulting Sharks McKinsey & Company. Companies, they say, face a perfect storm of increasing call volumes, talent shortages, and rising customer expectations. Talent shortages, they say. Maybe it's because the average call center worker only earns $34,000 a year. Customer satisfaction is at a 17-year low, and the only human face that people will take their aggression out on is the low-wage worker. Corporate executives very much want you to take your aggression out on their low-wage workers. This way you get a vague feeling of agency and control in a system that is designed to keep you very far from it. Now we're going to talk about deliberate understaffing. As a lot of you may know, the last 2 years have been a watershed moment in labor organizing. And American approval of labor unions is the highest it's been since 1965. It's very convenient then that just as workers are beginning to get leverage, companies are using every tool at their disposal to gut staffing to its bare bones. These last few years, companies have blamed staff shortages on labor shortages. No one wants to work anymore. But businesses are now seeing this as an opportunity to automate or cut costs.
Remember the stream that I did, the clip I did about McDonald's workers, McDonald corporate workers being laid off? There was hundreds that were laid off at their Chicago location. This is what's going on. And so guess what? If you have a problem, you need to call corporate. For disputes, press 1. You know, it's just, it's crazy. And so there's this quiet hiring that they continuously do where they put you in a precarious position where you are understaffed and overworked. And so guess what? Who suffers? You and the customer. Yikes.
The long term, you know, we're trying to make bold choices about technology, not to replace our workers, but to make them more productive, because we're assuming we'll have fewer workers going forward.
And with 10 to 12% smaller staffs than before the pandemic, and they're still trying to find ways to double up on workers' duties. In a recent earnings call, the CEO of Chili's proposed removing an hour of prep time each day by not rationing and packaging shrimp for each dish. Labor, he reasoned, is now more expensive than an extra shrimp in the fettuccine.
Why don't we get rid of that and save millions of dollars in terms of labor that can either be redeployed back into the restaurant or potentially to the bottom line if we can change, you know, the amount of hours that we deploy to the business.
Let's go back to the Waffle House waitress. Her name is Haley.
You touch my floor, it's on.
The night of that fight, Haley was the only cook serving 30 to 40 people in that restaurant. The place was badly understaffed, and that's not uncommon. Chronic understaffing is exactly why we see those feel-good videos of workers staffing restaurants by themselves or manning multiple grills at once, or even customers coming in and cleaning and cooking at the Waffle House. After the fight, Waffle House said that she handled the customer appropriately, but still decided to write her up. And for what? Breaking a sugar shaker.
About 6 months later, when I went to apply at another Waffle House in North Carolina, I had found out that I was blacklisted and on the do not hire list.
Now, Waffle House might not be famous for its care for its workers. This is the place, after all, that FEMA uses as an unofficial indicator for how deadly a hurricane was.
Dear God. And most not most, some Waffle House workers are people that were in the carceral system that are getting out of jail and prison, and Waffle House will hire people who come out of jail and prison, and because there's a lot of companies that won't hire them. And then these workers who work at places like Waffle House, they do not get a living wage, and then they get treated like crap.
Several Waffle House employees actually live reported Hurricane Ian in Florida last year.
Coming to you live from Waffle House right now. My name is Chelsea, and I will be your weather forecast person.
Do you think any of these employees? No, absolutely not. Joe Rogers Jr., the chairman of Waffle House, became a billionaire during the pandemic while also working to cut pay to workers who worked through the early weeks of it.
We're going to do our best to protect their income, and you have to save the business.
All of this boils down to increasing profits and shielding the real wrongdoer. These companies are trying to get away with anything they can because they're betting that you're only going to get mad at the person behind the counter or on the phone. The people who actually make decisions are guarded through layers of bureaucratic red tape and lawyers, impossible to reach by design. The truth is, we all have a lot more in common with each other than we do with billionaires who are trying to keep us mad at one another. Instead of being mad at low-wage workers, we need to have solidarity with them.
You're not in competition with each other. Repeat.
Charge instead.
So, yeah. And that's the thing. They're basically pitting us against each other when it comes to actually fighting against the system that puts profit over people. And that profit over people also includes profit over customers. They don't care about you. They just care about what's in your wallet. What's in your wallet? That's how they are. You know, and it's getting worse year over year because satisfaction doesn't matter. It's not important. So that's it's quite unfortunate, and that's how the way it is. Like, I want you guys to look at this. And this happens so much. And I've seen this. I remember one time, it was a couple years ago, my mom and I, we decided to head to Burger King, you know, just for lunch. And the line was long and it was backed up. And we waited a long time for our food. And we already paid, we already ordered, and, we were really hungry. And, the way it is that you can't leave out the line and just say, screw it and go someplace else. It's like the barrier area, without messing up your tires, you're basically stuck in line, which is what they want. And so by the time we got there to the lady in the window, because we could have been like, why the hell are you guys taking so long? Y'all taking so long with mama order, blah, blah, blah. We and my mom looked at each other and go, ma'am, are you short-staffed? She's like, yes, ma'am. We're very short-staffed. It's me and only one other person in the store. In the middle of a lunch rush on a major highway. Major highway, lunch rush, 2 people in the store. They literally had to close down the lobby and do only drive-through because they could not do both. And this lady was like, look, if you know somebody that's looking for work, then, they could apply here because we're short-staffed. And me and my mother, we felt horrible. And we said, ma'am, you're doing the best you possibly can. Thank you so much for all you're doing. We hope that you get a better staff. And truth be told, if it were up to me, I would have looked at me and my coworker and be like, you know what? We're closing down the store. If you can't get enough people to work and to have, enough workers in order to operate the store, then we won't open. And that's why this is so important. Let me share this. Make sure. Yeah. Let me share this really quick, because this actually goes into what I was saying. Because there's so many people who are understaffed.
Tell me why I'm the only one that showed up today. The only one. I'm not supposed to be in here by myself. I'm the only person who showed up to work today. So guess what? If my cashier is not here in the next 10 minutes, I'm closing down this store. I'm not running.
By the way, this is a Dollar General that she works at.
Store. I'm not running this store by myself. And cussed out almost every customer who came through here because they were not understanding. I'm the only one in here. I can't stock the shelves, run the register, manage the shift all by my fucking self without people having to use self-checkout. And people want to be assholes. Well, you get paid to do that. That's her job. Let her ring you up. Bitch, I barely get paid enough to show up. Barely get paid enough for that. Today's my last day. Tell me why I'm the only.
Yeah. And so people are complaining now, saying, well, where's the customer service? Well, that went out the window. You actually think they're actually going to look out for people? They don't do that. They don't care. That's how it always is, man, with these people. And by these people, I mean the corporate dictators. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. But there is some solutions, right? I mean, short of revolution. I mean, you have building solidarity with workers, different organizations, unionizing. There's also promotion of, oh my God, it's raining. I'm sorry. I had my squirrel moment. Look, just to be honest with you guys, one side note, it has not rained. We have not had a shower in weeks, which is unusual for this time of year. We usually already start having showers by late March. We start having regular afternoon showers, and this is the first one I've seen in a while. Anyways, so one thing that I would love to promote is worker ownership. And I think if you have a company that's owned by the workers, guess what? Customer service is going to be a lot better because they know what it's like to be a customer, and they are going to make sure that things are running optimally for the customer. And so, they're not going to make their staff lower just so that they can make more profit in that way when they know that's going to risk losing customers. And so this is also why, pushing for more worker ownership is also a really great thing. And I would love to see some organizations that not only push for unions, but also for more worker ownership as well. Thanks for the tip. I'm sorry. Thanks for the super chat, Roger. He says, I tried to get rid of cable TV service and only have internet, but I had to go back because even though I had internet with them, the apps wouldn't work. That's how they do you, man. And then, by the way, Roger, When it comes to some of these people and these cable and satellite TV services, you'll be like, okay, I just want to have internet, right? And it'll be like, oh, well, how much is it for internet by itself? It's like, well, internet by itself is $70. How much is it with internet and TV service? Oh, it's only $100. And I'm like, okay, so you're basically saying that the TV is only $25. Oh no, the TV is actually $50, and we actually lower the price of the internet to $50. I'm like, but then if I want internet by itself, you guys, shoot up the price just for internet by itself. So you're now forcing me to have TV, right? And then it's like, well, all right, that's how they do you. It's crazy, man. The way they operate. Thanks for the other super chat. He says, prepare for speech I said on Sab's call and 15 rock messages. Oh, oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot, man. And that's one of the things that I can't stand about these corporations, man. And that's what it is. The real culprit is the corporate dictators. All right, so let me go here. All right. Thanks for the tip, Roger. He says their name. This will be added to more consumers to the pot. Wait. Oh, sorry. He says if you want to bring back worker solidarity, you have to deprogram people to get them from thinking of themselves as consumers and thinking of themselves as workers. We are a culture of consumers. We're like, where can I get the better deal? Where's the best sale at? This all started in the 1970s, where credit card companies helped lobby to end the ban of women not being able to own credit cards in their name. This would add more consumers to the pot. Now combine that with outsourcing of manufacturing jobs, which started in the 80s and exacerbated and then came to its culmination in the 90s. The pitch was, hey, we can make it cheaper for you to purchase simply by making it cheaper to manufacture outside the country. You don't want those pesky labor issues demanding more pay for their workers. So getting in the way of you being able to afford something cheaper, right? This is the consumer mentality that leads us to say the rent is too damn high or things are way too expensive and the cost of living is out of reach. Why do we say that rather than the paychecks are too damn low? Why do we fight for bringing costs down rather than paychecks up? It's because we see ourselves as consumers rather than workers. We are more concerned about getting our stuff for cheap and not caring about how it might affect the workers who got you your stuff. Sabrina, you were definitely right. Oh, he's talking to Savvy. You were definitely right when you mentioned Amazon, and your friend said it went over their head when mentioning to her about what Amazon is doing to its workers. When she didn't care, it was all about getting her stuff. Just like when I spoke to that woman at T-Mobile about Amazon, and she told me she loves herself some Amazon. With all those things focused on how to save and how to budget correctly. It's all designed to get us away from demanding wages and staying permanently above cost of living without demanding anything from the boss. You see, it is this consumer consumption culture that has led us to camp outside of Walmart Thanksgiving Day, midnight into Black Friday, sleeping in the cold. That's true, man. And when Apple has a new iPhone, you will have these people literally camped out in the street, even if it's cold outside. They will bring tents just for a phone. I'm like, what in God's name? Over a phone, right? Or hell, remember when the PS4 came out? People were camped out. PS5 comes out, people are camped out for that. But when it comes to actually fighting for the workers who actually helped build that PS5, nothing. Crickets, right? Because they created us into that culture. Great points, Roger. Hang on, let me continue. It is the consumer mentality that led to the death of Jaybefaunt in 2008. I don't remember that. A Walmart worker in Valley Stream, Long Island, who was stampeded to death when he went to open the doors on midnight Black Friday for those waiting to enter the building. And like the running of the bulls in Spain, when released, they commenced to stampeding his life out. This part right here is from the Daily News at the time. The Black Friday stampede plunged the Valley Stream outlet into chaos, knocking several employees to the ground and sending others scurrying the top vending machines to avoid the horde. When the madness ended, 34-year-old Jadim Maitai Damore was dead, and 4 shoppers, including a woman 8 months pregnant, were injured. He was bum rushed by 200 people, said Walmart worker Jimmy Overby, 43. They took the doors off the hinges. He was trampled and killed in front of me. They took me down too. I didn't know if I was going to live through it. I literally had to fight people off my back, Overby said. End of the article. Now, how many times have you seen this happen in the news throughout the decades? Not the part about people getting hurt, but consumers waiting for the doors to open, and you see a mob rush through the doors. People fighting, that's mine. No, I grabbed it first. Yo, okay. Just to add some context, some validity, not validity. Oh gosh, some levity to this. I remember a few years ago, I went to my first Black Friday. Now, by the way, I was in a religious organization where we didn't celebrate Christmas at all, but I had a family that celebrated Christmas, and so I never sat and, I never been to Black Friday shopping before. So I went my first Black Friday to a Walmart, and we were picking out different things from the store that she wanted on her list. I said after that one time, I said, never again. I will never Black Friday shop at a store like that ever again. Because people are literally elbowing people for stuff. It's crazy. It also introduced the snitching culture into the workplace, where you have people looking to curry favor with the boss so that they can have the boss focus on coworkers, on what coworkers are doing rather than what snitch is doing or not doing. Like slacking off. Look over there, boss. Don't look at me. Or it's easier to show loyalty to your willingness to snitch on your coworkers out than actually working hard. And if you're black, that ish gets exacerbated even more, because they don't want you there in the first place. They figure you are some affirmative action hire that doesn't deserve to be there in the first place. So now you're dealing with no worker solidarity as it breaks down to race. This is why I say tax the rich. I tell my brethren here that we should be specific on which rich we should to tax. If you say tax the industrialists of today, like Musk, Gates, Bezos, that is a harder lift, because people feel connection to those companies. Why? because they offer them something they can use in their lives, which is why I say the tax the rich argument should be for those who represent the majority of the wealthy in this country, which are not those who manufacture things, but those who make money off money but contribute nothing to tangible to society can use. If you wish to tax the rich, you tax derivatives, speculation, stock transfers, stock buybacks, capital gains, carried interest, and high frequency trading. You never hear anyone professing their love for those guys, like the venture capitalists. I got you. When it comes to Bezos, Musk, and Gates, our rhetoric should be Attorney General Dissolution, aka the revoking of corporate charters, aka the corporate death penalty, and make it possible for them to issue out cooperative charters in their place. In conclusion, this is exactly what I mean when I say there could be no worker solidarity until we deprogram our minds from the thinking, but reprogram instead to think of ourselves as workers. However, what I would argue for instead is to jump right over that and to give them to think of owners rather than workers instead. It is more effective approach, thinking of themselves as owners of companies, land, distribution, and supply chains through cooperative worker and community. Woo, that was a lot. That was a speech. Thanks, Roger. Man. So let me go to some of the comments in the chat as well. Quantum Alchemist says, wow, that's generous. Quote unquote generous, JB. Guess what I got for did the math, bringing my old mobile company about 20,000 euros revenue per month. My pay was 400 euros plus taxation on top. Yeah. Jenna says, without hanging up, a lot of call centers, you aren't allowed to be the one who terminates the call unless very specific situations. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Brent Hudgens says, I don't care how bad my service is, I 5-star my experience and use text to resolve my issues. Let's try. Yeah. Cobra Commander says, there's a Jack in the Box that's automated downtown. It gets my order wrong every effing time. And every time I stand there like a Karen waiting for a human to fix this ish. Yep. And it's automated out the woodwork. One more time. All right. All right. So we got one more. Let me share. All right. He says, think of themselves as owners of company, land distribution and supply chains through cooperative worker and community ownership goes a long way. We do that, then a general national strike would be organic. I want you to think about this. If the reason for outsourcing manufacturing was to make things cheap here, then why in the world am I paying $600 to $1,200 for a damn phone? It should be $50. Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh! Yes! If you're making phones cheaper over there, then why am I paying? Like, look, an iPhone costs more than the PS5. Like, what? Like, Lord, something this size. And look, a PS5 is retail. I think for the PS5, for the one with the disk drive, is $500. The one without the disk drive, $400. You get iPhones that are $1,200. Why in the world are we doing this? It's because of profit. And guess what? Don't get me started on the pay of the people who manufacture the phones, the pay of the people who actually have to sell the phones, and the people who actually work in these offices. They don't make much either. And then after that, the video game companies, the people who actually help manufacture these consoles, they don't get paid much either. And don't get me started on, look, if we're going to go customer service, let's go customer service. What also about the video games where you actually have to pay extra for DLC for a game? So instead of paying $70 for a completed game, you end up paying $120 for the game because you paid $50. You paid like $50, $60 in DLCs over the course of the game because you had to complete the game after it was fully manufactured. Like, if it's not fully done, then fully create the game. And so guess what? Yeah, like, yo, Roger, for real. So mofo's got to take out a damn lease. Yes. And the people who buy these iPhones, they're not paying $1,200 outright. They have to go on a payment plan. If you're a T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, you have to do a payment plan just to have that phone. It's wild. It's wicked, man. And this is the part of capitalism as well as customer service that wears me out. Because the thing is that, look, you have to deal with these corporations shafting you left and right every single which way. And so I love what you said about, Roger, especially about, pushing, worker ownership, pushing, to make it so that, these corporations have right to first refusal, and as well as getting these people who are making money off money, these venture capitalists, out, getting them out of our society. Get this out, because the thing is that they are not doing anything of benefit to us whatsoever. And then to the Musks and the Bezos and all these other people, then you push them to make it that is worker owned. I would love to see Tesla as worker owned. I would love to see SpaceX. Actually, hell, no. SpaceX, no. Have that absorbed into NASA. Have Amazon completely worker owned, right? Sites like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, that should be a public utility. And then people will say, well, the customer service and these government bureaucracies aren't that good either. That's because they keep cutting the oh my gosh, they keep cutting, right? It's by death by 1,000 cuts. So yeah, they're not able to pay as many people to do the job. So guess what? You're going to have a lot of people who are going to be unhappy because they're doing so much work. You go to the DMV, those people aren't unhappy. Yeah, because they are doing more work than what they should be doing. They're getting overworked. And they're not being treated right. So yeah, of course. But then people go, oh, I don't want my taxes going there. Yeah, the thing is that your taxes would be relatively stay the same if we didn't have a military budget that was so damn sky high that it literally is bigger than the next 10 countries combined. Jeez Louise, Lord. Let me get somewhere more in chat, because I'm about to go. I'm busting eight. Oh, by the way, okay, Quantum Alchemist says it's a bit like the Wild West situation, and like I said, it shows. Bryce, thank you so much. Don't forget to also like the stream, and also if you guys haven't subscribed, then please make sure to subscribe as well. Thank you so much for that, Bryce. Wordy says, I noticed Best Buy is applying 2-year contract model to laptop purchases now. Why? Wait. And by the way, the whole can we talk about the whole protection plan BS? They used to have to make, oh my God, every single thing. Oh, would you like to go with our protection plan? Blah, blah, blah. And you know what? You know what hurts the most is I was actually good at pushing the protection plan. I was good at it. And I hated it. I hated when I worked at Sears and I used to have to push their credit cards. I remember one time where there was this older black gentleman. And you know how you meet people who they want to say no, but they can't? This was one of those types of gentlemen. And my boss, my manager was right there. So I had to do it. And so I asked him if he would like to apply for the credit card. And he was like, yeah, I don't think it's the right time for me. I've applied before, blah, blah, blah. That was basically, in so many words, he was trying to say no without being mean. And I had to push because my manager was looking at me. And I pushed, I gently nudged again. And he kind of went around basically trying to say no. And I did it again the third time. And he was like, yeah, nah. But he didn't say, yeah, nah. He was just like, I don't think it's right for me, blah, blah, blah. Right? And then my boss comes over and then push until the guy acquiesced and said, okay, I'll apply. And we had to have him apply for 2 different cards. He got rejected for both of them. By the way, whenever you apply for a credit card, it also lowers your credit score slightly. And I technically got the credit card applications, which means that it's good for me financially, but it's even better for the company. And my boss looked at me like, look, you did it. You got it. And he walked away. And I finished the gentleman's sale. And I said, thanks. Have a nice day. I was dejected. And I looked at one of my coworkers and I said, I got the credit card apps. And I said, but why do I feel so dirty? And my coworker, without missing a beat, he says, you feel dirty because you knew it was wrong. And he basically took advantage of that man not being able to say no. This is why these companies, this is why, especially people in sales. If you're in sales, I feel you. I feel you. God, I feel you. Especially if you don't like it, I feel you. And you're just trying to make money, to survive. But then you have to exploit people in order to survive. Oh my God. God, I hate capitalism. Zero Joshua says traumatized people are not that way because they want to be. Yep. LSG SG says, Quantum, I agree. They say the person who invented the modern cell phone himself believes that smartphone technology is not as ahead as people think it is. No, and by the way, I also think that they hold things back as well, just so that they can bring up the price, because there's better technology that they're probably already like a few years ahead already. It's just they don't want you to know so that they can milk as much money as they possibly can. And then a lot of technology is actually created in public colleges and universities through R&D. And then instead of actually lowering the price because they got these ideas through these public colleges and universities, they take this, they make it proprietary, and then they increase the price on it. Corporate Commander says PlayStation is doubling down on that. Xbox One, the third console war already. PlayStation going to do a bunch of live service games, going to bankrupt them over the next decade. It'd be sad to see because I mean I like PlayStation, but they dropped the ball, especially when it comes to customers, especially gamers. Vaughn says a lot of call centers are remote. Remote work from home, where any training is unpaid. So the main way to improve is to work for free, greatly reducing your hourly wage by training yourself when not working. It sucks. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. Zombie in the Air says, yeah, they train people to push that stuff hard. I always find it super awkward. Yeah. And I always, like, secretly, like, if they say no once, I'm like, okay, all right. And I'll keep pushing. But if the manager's around, I have to push more because they have, because I don't want them to think, oh, well, I'm not doing my job. It's like, if somebody says no, they don't want it. And it's like, well, you gotta make the case to them that is better. I'm like, but the thing is like, I'll make the case already, and if they say no, that's based on the informed decision. They already don't want it. So, gosh, this is one of the things I hate about being in sales. Yipper99 says the going green thing they push, not having a charger with the phone, it creates more waste. We brought a small item from Amazon, and it comes in a big box. Oh, yeah, I've had that where it's a small item that comes in a large box than what it should. Zombie in the Air says, my dad was like that. Couldn't say no. He got talked into playing all kinds of lotteries and was pressured into regular chats with local Jehovah's Witnesses. I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. I was one for almost 20 years. Look, if you're encountering them and if you don't want to speak, just say, I am not interested at all. And please just do not return. Just put me on your list of do not return. Most of the time, they're pretty friendly and they'll respect that. But, people are people and people are different, so. But, yeah, I was one for almost 20 years. So I left about 5 years ago. So, sorry. Yeah, I was one of those guys that knocked on your door. Roger Middle says, so we're all in agreement that from this day forward, we say 90% of our rhetoric should be make paychecks permanently above cost of living and 10% prices too damn high. Oh, look, you preaching to the choir, Roger. Brother, come on now. Paychecks, yes, paychecks need to be permanently above the cost of living. Absolutely. We need not just a living wage, but a thriving wage. Absolutely, man. Look, I will go the Cuba and China route. Your rent or mortgage should not be more than 10% of your monthly wages. 10%. Yeah. I'm gonna have somebody who is very versed on China next week, and I'm gonna ask them about that. So, somebody who's very versed on China. I can't wait. It's gonna be good. But yeah, I can't say too much now. But yeah. And she says, nowadays, instead of seeming rude, I tell the truth that my credit history is not good, and that ends the conversation. They taught us that we'll go, oh, you never know. You could just try. That's what they tell us to say. They taught us to say that. Get around it. Me. This damn internet. Dear God. Okay. I'm not saying. God. My internet's going in and out while I'm live on stream. See, this is why we need municipal broadband. Oh my God. Revolution, please come soon. Dear God. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, everybody. Roger Meadow says, what? Cuba has that? Yeah. They look, this is why they virtually have no homelessness in Cuba. Okay, Gregorius, I'm not saying who is going to be on next week, but if that's for me to know and for y'all to find out. But let me tell you, shout out to Danny Haifong. Brilliant guy. If you guys go to the left lens, his channel, he gives great analysis on geopolitics. I highly recommend you guys go there. Wardy says, why repair when you can replace it with something that will last half as long, effectively twice as much as over the lifetime? Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, your internet is very sketchy. Yeah, it's just like it shuts off. Like, I don't know. This is the thing. We need better internet. So yeah. Let me check. Anything else on Rockfin? Nope, I think we're done. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna head out because I got the Sabby and JB show a little bit later today at 6 p.m. We got 2 stories to cover. We're gonna be covering another story regarding medical bills, and then we have one about Justin J. Pearson. It's gonna be an interesting show today. Oh man, but stay tuned for that on RBN. And so I can't wait. And then on next week on my show on Tuesday, I'll be having on Robert Durden from Political Fight Club on. I haven't talked to him in a while, so I'm gonna have him on. He's from the Indie News Network. So we're gonna have a great conversation. I can't wait to talk to him. And so be sure to tune in for the JB show on Sunday for RBN. I'll be covering some news stories on there as well. Also, did you guys like the stream? Make sure to hit the like button as well as turn that subscribe button from red to gray. And here's ay. And thank you guys so much for your contributions, either Patreon or Coffee. If you guys want to, you guys can actually go to my Patreon. And that is also linked in the this below, as well as memberships. I do have memberships as well. So thank you guys so much for those, as it means I'd like to. You guys can get email notifications. This is not even consistent, but please go to my look, water your plants, water yourselves. Drink them if you got them. Forehead kisses to every single one of you. I gotta go because this thing's about to go out. Bye. Take care. See you later. Deuces, Bruce. Jeez Louise.